Hello, collective. Welcome back to my channel. This is Divine Eye Mystic Tarot, back with another general reading. We're going to dive right in. We're going to get right into it. But just to let you know, I pulled a few cards already. So I'm going to go over what they are before we clarify. But just overall, with these three cards that's out here, it's giving like somebody, man or woman, um, maybe wanting to spin the block, or they are in this moment of maybe going through a dark night of the soul, as well as possibly doing some shadow work. Okay. And you got someone that may be connected to them in some way, or this just may be a side note that someone is mocking your calling. Somebody mocking your calling, whatever it is that um, your gifts are, whatever it is that you're into doing right now, whether it's tarot, whether it's being an advocate, for some of the things that a lot of people may be dealing with, facing, whether it's, being a mentor to someone, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm seeing the Six of Pentacles. So it's given like you being somebody that's very generous, somebody that's very helpful, be resourceful even. So you could be a mentor, you could be someone that helps, less fortunate people. You could work in charity situations, places like that. But somebody's mocking you for your calling. You know what I'm saying? They speaking on it with other people, or just making comments about it, outside of what they may have thought, what they saw you doing. All right. But the first card that came out is somebody has a confession for you, Divine Feminine. But it came out in reverse, has a confession to make. Somebody has a confession to make. It came out in reverse, so it's like Seven of Swords in reverse. Somebody got something they want to tell you, something they want to expose. For it to be in reverse, so you could already know what this is intuitively. You could have already asked, to be shown whatever it is that you have not been told or needed to see. So whatever somebody's confession is, you may know what it is already, but it still doesn't exclude the fact that they need to be the one, to speak up about it. All right. And then you got the next card, scared of your response if I reached out first. It came out in reverse as well. So they could not, be focused on that now. That may not be an issue, for them being possibly the one that reaches out to you first. And that may have been why, something may have taken so long to happen in the first place. So do keep that in mind. But that may be a factor. You know what I'm saying? There may be something they holding close to their chest. That may be something that you don't know. Either one for them to be in reverse is they may have a confession to make, and it may be something that they not going to, and that may be part of the reason why they, kind of scared of being the first person to reach out, because they know they have something to say, and possibly know you already know probably somewhat what it's about. It's like I told you so moment, but they could be, wanting to reach out first and not letting that, because I feel like this is something in the past that may have taken somebody so long to do. If you have not heard from this person so far, all right. But I've already pre-shuffled. Just wanted to go over the few cards that I did, have come out, and we're gonna go right in and clarify. So let's start, with this confession. Clarify has a confession to make. What is this confession about? Who has this confession to make? And what is it about? What is this? Who has this confession to make? We got the Three of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Pentacles. Could be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Could be a Capricorn. Don't have to be. But this is, them possibly wanting to tell you why something didn't work, why they were one of the individuals, you know what I'm saying, in this collaboration, in this team. You know what I'm saying? Whether they were not a good team player, for whatever reason they, were not doing their part in a connection, especially if they didn't feel like they had it. Like if they didn't feel like they, somebody may not have felt like they had enough. Like they didn't feel like they brought enough to the table, or they didn't feel like they, had that confidence enough to really say that they could be somebody that could give you like that equal focus effort that you had. Okay. Um, and they may have been juggling that idea, juggling their finances even with these pentacles, because you got the two of pentacles at the bottom of the deck in reverse, and you got the three of pentacles in reverse. So they could be a Capricorn. They could have Capricorn in their chart, but they may be paying off some debt right now when it comes to, them being in a financial slump. They may have had, that on their mind, or that may have been something they were dealing with that caused them not to be able to partner with you, or that's the reason why somebody may have, not being, like I said, a team player. Clarify this three of pentacles in reverse. What's the three of pentacles in reverse about? As a confession. What's the three of pentacles in reverse? Ten of cups in reverse. That's a Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Yeah. Whoever this is, they more than likely, done had some bad, um, some bad commitment issues, like things that they normally don't see through. Like they may not have had, a good rapport, when it comes to them, staying the course and saying that, they finished something. It could be school, it could be work, it could be family, it could be love, it could be parenting. This is something that somebody does not, finish what they start. And they may have commitment issues, have an issue, with committing to things that requires them, to be more responsible. It requires them to make a focused effort. You know what I mean? And especially if they were one of them people that always ended up playing victim and not doing their part and kind of wanting somebody else to do and bring more, to the surface and show more of their interest than they actually do. And they may have been in some bad, like they may have had some relationship baggage is what I'm saying. They may have had some failed, connections in their past that, kind of left them, with this lack, you know what I'm saying, of them feeling as though like they have what they need, to move forward and be, like I said, a productive member of the team. Whether it's at work, whether it's, like I said, in a marriage, a home, a friend, a business, you know what I'm saying? But with this Ten of Cups out here, it's giving like somebody not being in a good, they could have been in some domestic situations before. And just some unhealthy, relationships that I've been in. Like they, and it could be family, it could be love. It could be friendships. They just been in a lot of things that did not leave them, with a lot of experience in having, how some people say their friendship to some people is what it is. Like they friendship ain't friendly. You know what I'm saying? On the level of what yours would be. And you may find yourself, whoever this reading resonate with, you may find yourself being more of a friend to people than they are to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, playing that part, you know, in lovers, in work related, you know, situations with family, you know, because some people will pull that family card. Some people will pull that friend card because you've been knowing them so long. You know, why would you take that way? You know, it is what it is. You know, I ain't gonna just say nothing, but you know, sometimes some people overstep their boundaries and not looking at themselves and not, you know, making sure that whatever they speaking on is going on in their own world. You know what I'm saying, in their own life, and that they got that under control. You know, you have to make sure you got all that shit, you know what I'm saying, at the forefront before you comment on somebody else's shit. That's why it's not good, you know, to get in somebody's shit like that, you know, and not letting them deal with the way they want to or they feel like they need to. So they can't blame you. But at this point, it's like somebody, the confession they want to make, you know, could possibly be, you know, why they were not able to commit. You know what I'm saying? And it may have been because they may have felt like, you know, past, you know, situations, you know, they were in, people they met, people they trusted, you know, did not pan out so well. And if they didn't feel like, you know, you and them would have a healthy connection, or they felt like, you know, they had been in some bad connections already that felt similar to the one that they may have, you know, prejudged you and them to be in. Because like I said, you got the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck with the Judgment in reverse. So it's giving somebody want to come forward. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It could have Capricorn in their chart. Or they could have any earth sign in their chart. But they want to come towards you, you know, with some type of offer. They want to come towards you with something that they feel like, you know, is deeply felt. Like something that they dreamed of. Like this is them following their heart, following their gut feeling, following their emotions, and what they feelings is telling them, what their emotions is telling them. And they can feel some type of way, you know, that, you know, they didn't see something, or, you know, kind of, you know, being critical of themselves because they didn't trust the process. You know what I'm saying? And they may see it now because so many other people, you know, around them may be telling them like, man, you know, that's all you, you know what I'm saying, got to say about the situation, man. That's time wasted. You know, you could have been with that person and, you know what I'm saying, seen something through. Or sis, you could have been with that person and gave them the, you know, the time of, you know what I'm saying, consideration, like let something play out, like instead of self-sabotaging is what I'm getting. And somebody want to come confess at something as to why they, you know, had they issues with commitment. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they didn't want to give you one. Maybe they didn't trust that, you know, they would bring enough to the table, or they didn't feel like, you know, financially they were where they needed to be, you know what I'm saying, to say that they matched up to what you brought. And you may be self-efficient, you know what I'm saying, you may have, you know, did a lot of work on yourself, put a lot of work into yourself, you know what I'm saying, but this person may have went through a lot of, and you may have too, went through a lot of, you know, failed connections, you know what I'm saying, family issues, bad, you know what I'm saying, just bad blood, you know, and this person done had their share of it. And it's like now they know that they gonna have to wait, you know, until something come back around as far as them actually, you know, having that hope that a Ten of Cups is even something that can return. It's something that you even, you know, see with them because they, you know, possibly have messed something up. You got the Knight of Cups, the Judgment in reverse, the Three of Pentacles. I mean, the Three of Swords in reverse. Yeah, and the Ace of Pentacles. Like somebody definitely feel like, you know, they want some type of forgiveness for breaking your heart. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it hurt them too. But this is something they want your forgiveness in. What's the Three of Pentacles in reverse with the Ten of Cups in reverse? What's the Three of Pentacles in reverse with the Ten of Cups in reverse? Clarify the Three of Pentacles in reverse with the Ten of Cups in reverse. Five of Wands with the Temperance, the bottom of the deck in reverse, Sagittarius. So somebody feeling like they, this is some type of conflict that they having with themselves. Like they may feel as though this confession that they, that they have to make, it may feel to them like it's going, they, having some type of conflict or arguments or something like that, chaos, disagreements. And they may feel like, this is something they feel is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't let the universe balance something out. Maybe they had their own way of feeling like, or had their own way of dealing with this non-committal thing, or them, feeling like they being in a lot of unhealthy connections and relationships and having so many unhealthy relationships around them that this person now, feels they feeling it. Like somebody feeling, what they actions were, and maybe some type of competition they put you in, or they were competing with you to try to match your energy or something like that, or taking your self-efficiency, as a threat, and, or your independence as a threat, like something they felt like they needed to compete with. And maybe they did put you in some type of competition with others, comparing you to others and shit like that. But this is, the fact that they, create a lot of imbalance for the situation to even make sense, for them to even make a decent, choice in the situation. Like you can't see something, for all the chaos, and the people involved. And it could be, them battling these people now, but the same people or folks that they allowed, access to their energy at a time where they were trying to get to know you, or you get to know them, or both, you know what I'm saying? But they got a confession they want to make to you, and it could possibly be about, why they couldn't give you this commitment, and be honest with you about, whatever, unfair competition they put you in, or them being in one with you because of how they saw things, compared to you, how they saw themselves when they came to you. And they may be used to people that needed them, for all kind of, unnecessary reasons, codependency even. Got the Temperance in the bottom of the deck in reverse with the Four of Cups, Magician. So now, like they looking over some of the things, their behavior, how they express themselves, some of the games or things that they played, some of the games they played, some of the things they went about doing to kind of express how they felt, whether it was to you or outside people. But the competition, they put you in was, reason why they couldn't give you some type of commitment. And it could have been, a lot of chaos and, arguments going on now with them people because of that. And they could be having this with themselves. It don't have to be a competition. I feel like it's just some chaos. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, disagreements, arguments going on, things they may, be saying to people, some back and forth, between different people about some things they may have let get in the way that played a factor in, them not being, what I'm saying, a team player or working with you, you know what I'm saying? Coming together. Clarify scared of the clarify clarity. Child, hold on. I'm looking at something out this window. Hold on. Scared of the response they get if they reached out first. Scared of the response I get if I reached out first. Clarify. Scared of the response I get if I reached out first. Why are they scared? Why are they scared of the response they get? What response they think they gonna get? What's the response they think they're gonna get? You got the Four of Swords with the King of Swords. Might want to lay something to rest. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. They want to lay something to rest. What's the Four of Swords? But you could be protecting your peace right now. Healing. What's the Four of Swords? What's the Four of Swords? Yeah, this person's scared that, you protecting your peace right now because they had, it's like somebody saying, oh, you had all your options before. You know what I'm saying? Made it seem like you had so much going on. Everything else was so important. You had so much, you was busy doing, you was so, distracted by this. You had this and that going on. Oh, now you want to, you know what I'm saying? Now you seeing how that was making everything confusing, how that was, not as important as you thought it was. Oh, now you see, yeah. Because you got the Ten of Wands in reverse with the Seven of Cups. And it's like this person may have, let a lot of things that they were thinking, or looking for something to come from and looking for things to come out of to help them decide, on what direction to go in. Especially, when it came to them possibly, searching for like what their purpose is. You know what I'm saying? What it was that, drives them, what it is that they love to do. Like, what is it that you really want to do? What is your focus? What's your goal? What's your aim? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this person, had like some wishful thinking that they thought, was going to get them to that answer. You know what I'm saying? But now, with the Ten of Wands in reverse, it's like, releasing too much responsibility, like releasing themselves from things they felt like, was, not, something that really was part of their higher self. It wasn't, anything they were doing that was going to make them, see something clearly. It wasn't from their higher self. Like something was not very, the actions or whatever they were doing was not something whatever they were invested in was not something that was an investment toward their higher self. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't making things that they felt like, or whatever they were involving themselves with and in, was not something that was elevating them in any productive kind of way. And it's like, they could feel like, you being cold-hearted, or you not communicating with them, you know what I'm saying, and protecting your peace and stuff like that. Could be them feeling like, especially if they dealing with people or somebody that they thought at the time was like not very smart. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody taking your boundaries is somebody that it's like somebody taking, however they feel about your boundaries as something that they felt like, was not relevant, like it's not respected. You know what I'm saying? Like you may have made clear communication, set boundaries for yourself, but I feel like this person at a time, when they probably, first came in contact with you, got involved with you, may not have been that way. You probably had got that way, after dealing with this person over a period of time, or seeing how this person, may have changed up, so you did. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like at one time, they were looking at you as somebody that was easily influenced. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they could have came in and said, something, and you would overlook it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really address it right then or something like that. But then the minute you did, it may have been something that this person, started to see was. It's like somebody saying, you can't be this way or that way. You ain't really got nothing. You could really be somebody that did not really have much at the time. Maybe you were somebody that, was going through some things. Maybe you had, some obstacles you had to overcome, some lessons you were, in the midst of. You know what I'm saying? You could have been somewhere in the middle on your spiritual journey, going through some things that, felt like it was chaos, like had an imbalance going on. You know what I'm saying? Because of you being, on your spiritual journey. And for some people, when they awaken, it is almost like being shown all the things at one time that were incorrect. It was an incorrect way of doing that. This is the way you should have done that. This is, yeah, you know that because you start to look at it different. You start to feel differently about it. You start to speak differently on it. You start to, take more accountability. I'm talking about literally verbally out loud do it. You know what I'm saying? Going through a spiritual awakening and being new on your journey, when you talking about spiritual awakening, it is nothing to be saying, oh, it was so beautiful. Child, no. There's some things that you got wrong. There's some people that, you were supposed to look out for and be aware of, and you ignored them signs, and you went through what you went through with them, and you went through it again with somebody else, and it's gonna keep being similar situations with different people in your life that you will eventually end up not talking to, because you have already mentally and verbally brought yourself to that understanding of that's what that was, and I shouldn't have done that. Now, if you want to go back and deal with that person after you've been shown that, that's up to you. But that's another dark night of the soul you'll be looking at going through if you do. Because they ain't on it where they need to be at. And you go back and involve yourself with them people and they ain't nowhere near on that type of frequency with you or ascension with you, you're going to be going through that on that roller coaster one more time. But they want to lay something to rest. They want to communicate with the Four Swords. Libra energy. But, being scared of what your response would be if they reach out first. And it's more or less like, them feeling as though, it's going to be about them having all these options. You know what I'm saying? And feeling like everything else was more important. And they had more emotion in everything else going on, and was more focused about everybody else and anything else that meant more to them, or whatever it was that they felt like was more of a distraction, because this is somebody that has felt like they had endless choices or opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they know you got options. Like they know you have endless choices. They may have felt like they had some. But at this point, it's like them, knowing that 10 of Wands in reverse. Like they know they ready to release, a lot of this responsibility that they done, made for themselves. They're releasing it. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever they feel like, is. And it could be procrastination as well. You know what I'm saying? Like this person doing. Because again, I said they feel like gonna be cold towards them. Like cold hearted. What's this 10 of Swords, this 10 of Wands in reverse about? Got the Queen of Wands in reverse. With the 2 of Swords. Yeah, I'm telling you, somebody know that they may have put you in a competition. They may have had other people that they were, probably trying to wait out and see what they had to bring to the table, what they offers would be like, and what the things, they were working on, had going on, with wishful thinking. You know what I'm saying? All these opportunities that they felt like they had with all these other people, and it's like now, somebody seeing that coming back around to you when it comes to communicating is something that they're gonna have to hear about because you know about it. Like if you told that person, like even if you didn't, I feel like it's like somebody knowing that there's an opportunity that they, had, they're gonna have to hear you say, I know it was other people, I know it was maybe, other options of, that you may have wanted to consider, but that put somebody at a crossroads with an empress in reverse. And they may have went towards somebody else that, was not very sold on them. You know what I'm saying? They may not have been somebody that was really there for them. They may have gotten with this Queen of Wands, and that Queen of Wands was just as promiscuous and just as lost in the sauce about being committed as they were for whatever purpose they commitment was. Like somebody's intentions is one thing, but if you don't know what you're committing to, you can commit to a lifetime of bullshit and not know it until the bullshit pop off. And by then you done married your problem. You know what I'm saying? You done got in bed with the very person that is the person that's gonna be the lesson for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind hearing Jezebel. But anyway, yeah, you got the Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck with the Empress in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So somebody got, releasing themselves, from whoever this Queen of Wands is that they done got involved with, and you protecting your peace at this point. So out of these options, somebody may have chosen, you know what I'm saying, or went and got involved, or they, signed a deal, or invested in the wrong somebody. Whoever this is, they very vengeful, hot tempered. Somebody that is not very it's giving me that mean girl thing. You know what I'm saying? And this could be somebody they were involved with, could be, a family member, could be a baby mom, don't have to be. But they somebody that don't like, the fact that you are who you are. And they'll talk shit, you know what I'm saying? And whoever this is that's talking about your calling and, mocking you for your calling or whatever, this is somebody that don't know how to do it, or they don't do it as good as you, or they somebody that would never imagine themselves doing something like that, don't know where to begin or how, to go about doing something like that, and be successful with it. But the fact that you somebody that will, take that leap of faith, you know what I'm saying, to do what you're doing, regardless of what it is, this is somebody that will talk shit about it. Whoever this Queen of Wands is, could be their mom, could be their baby mom, could be somebody that, somebody could have kids, because I keep saying somebody mom. You know what I'm saying? But this is somebody that definitely, is got a lot of insecurities about themselves. And they'll mock and do shit, you know what I'm saying, out of spite, just to get back at somebody else. Because I feel like somebody walking away from somebody like this. Queen of Wands in reverse. I feel like somebody walking away from somebody like this. And I feel like this is what kept you and this person at a stalemate. because of something, that they were not seeing about somebody at the time. What's the Seven of Cups? What's the Seven of Cups? The Hierophant. What's the Seven of Cups with the Hierophant? Clarify the Seven of Cups with the Hierophant. What's the Seven of Cups with the Hierophant? What's the Seven of Cups with the Hierophant? The Hermit. The Moon at the bottom of the deck. Somebody getting some advice to let go of whatever these insecurities are that they got, that may be holding this person back, or, for them to, actually use their intuition, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, they may feel as though you having options or something like that, or them having it is them, possibly like having followers, like having, people that they may go toward, or people that they have been around that all kind of like on the same level. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they may have had, other people supporting them, doing some of the same things they went into, but now it's like somebody is in hermit, doing some self introspection, like looking at themselves and maybe possibly talking, themselves through, why they felt like they needed to do what they did, you know what I'm saying, to gain some type of clarity, or gain some type of assurance, or gain some type of knowledge of purpose. Because I feel like, them thinking whatever worked for other people, or whatever other folks are doing, and having that way of thinking, or listening to somebody that they thought, was giving them, the best advice. It's like, but you have to make clear what it is you want, and actually why you want that. Because I feel like somebody was being led for some reason. Like they may, was following the crowd, you know what I'm saying? And just wanting to be part of something. And it's like, being involved with people at a time where they give you that sense of authority. Like they may have had a lot of people wanting to get at them, you know what I'm saying? And they could have had, some type of religious belief. They could have been part of some type of group, that, was telling them, things that they, maybe should have focused more on, or who they need to focus more on, things like that, who they should be with, who they should not be with. But now somebody's in hermit, they looking, possibly, what I'm saying, at how things don't win, and how a lot of that may have played a part in where they at right now. But they doing some shadow work, like they doing some self-reflecting with the hermit. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You got Virgo with the hermit, Taurus with the Hierophant. And like I said, whatever they were doing in the past, or however something, had them held up and procrastinating with this Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands in reverse. I don't know if whoever this Queen of Wands is in reverse is somebody that I would say can't be trusted, but they definitely somebody that will go out of their way to like, get some type of get back. You know what I'm saying? If they felt like they actions, or them coming around you, or coming towards you for something, for whatever they normally would get, they can't get no more. It's like somebody going out of their way to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like somebody maybe is trying to get that person to like wait on you, or telling them, you know what I'm saying, to do this. That's why somebody's scared. It ain't just of what your response is gonna be. It's what somebody is possibly got them thinking it's going to be. And the longer they let somebody stay in their head, like that, it's like, somebody trying to create illusions or trying to create some type of roadblock or illusion for them with the moon. Show me this person mocking you for your calling. Mocking you for your calling. Who is this? Show me this person. Got the Judgment in reverse with the Fool. Libra energy. Like, this is somebody that don't even like themselves. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that got a lot of, they are, an inner critic. They may criticize themselves, or somebody, because with the Fool is given like somebody that don't usually find themselves around people that actually are free spirited. You know what I'm saying? That will take a leap of faith, and go and discover and explore, different things, and without apologizing or being, ashamed of it. Yeah. Because whatever it is, it's allowing you to release, whatever fears or worries, so whatever it is, like somebody, see that going to take this leap of faith, but for somebody mocking you for your calling, it's somebody that's very, they not, and it could be the fact that somebody was doing this because they were trying to avoid judgment in the first place, or somebody trying to do it now because of, what it is that, your calling is. Like I said, for some of you it is tarot. For others of you, it could be that you're a practitioner. You could be, an herbalist. You could be whatever it is you into is, given like somebody was around other people or a particular person that did not agree with or did not see themselves doing what you're doing, maybe because they don't have the potential, they don't have the confidence, you know what I'm saying? They don't have the support, they don't have the followers, they don't have, anybody that will actually support them in them doing it. But you, on the other hand, would do it regardless of who know you do it, and who don't know you. You know what I'm saying? That come across you doing what you're doing. It's not even about that. This is about you doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Give me some more on this person mocking the collective for their calling. Mocking you for your calling. Got the Three of Cups. Cancerian energy. With the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck in reverse. Virgo. This could be a friend group. This could be, some friends or somebody that's been, that you celebrated with, possibly went out with a lot, or had good times with, went to parties, went to gatherings with, family functions. That could have came to your baby shower, different things like that when it comes to this Three of Cups. Got the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck in reverse. Knight of Cups, the Devil, Seven of Swords. Yeah. Somebody don't like the fact that whatever it is you do is something that, like I said, they have not put the work into themselves to go toward whatever ascension they are supposed to be at. If they have, any calling of their own, don't know what that is. But this is somebody that don't know, what I'm saying? This judgment in reverse is giving me like somebody's inability to make a decision. Like somebody having a lot of guilt as well. Because whoever this is, they could have been somebody that, is carrying a lot of guilt now and criticizing themselves, for doing this, especially if they were somebody that you had, good times with, party with, hung out with, went to, like I said, went to gatherings, celebrated together. Because this is somebody, you know what I'm saying, that got like a lot of low self-esteem, low skill about themselves. Like this is somebody that's not, willing or have, actually looked at putting any work into themselves or doing anything to, pass the time or seeing what it is they are good at. You know what I'm saying? Like this is somebody that's coming towards you in a way because they don't like where they at. They don't like the fact that they not doing what you're doing or doing something, that they really like, or, opening themselves up to something new regardless of what somebody gonna say about it. This is somebody that, can't bring themselves to do that. You may have been like that at one time, but it hasn't stopped you from doing what you're doing. What's the judgment in reverse with the Three of Cups? I'm gonna close out. What's the Three of Cups in reverse? What's the judgment in reverse with the Three of Cups? Got the King of Cups in reverse. With the Six of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck, Taurus. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Dealing with somebody could be double water, or somebody could be a water sign with air and fire in their chart. Because this King of Cups in reverse is not somebody that will support what you do either. Like they may not have supported what you did in the past. If you started doing this or whatever it is you started doing was something you started doing when you wasn't with a past person and you doing it now, like well, you may have said what you wanted to do then, but you may not have started doing it until you stopped being involved with this person and went, in another direction. And this King of Cups can be a feminine as well. Don't have to be a masculine just because it's saying King of Cups. So, gender is fluid, in tarot. So, especially if somebody, is not balanced, in their energy, in they, by themselves, and especially if they, mostly doing a lot of they dirty deed by themselves, you know what I'm saying? They gonna be in their masculine energy. You know what I'm saying? Depending on, to whatever extent they willing to go. And at this point it's like somebody, not very supportive. This is not somebody trustworthy. This is not somebody dependable. It's not somebody that you're gonna really be able to work with, or try to convince them, to be somebody that is a motivator, because this is somebody that's very unproductive. Okay, they very untrustworthy. Like you thinking this person gonna help you, with your marketing strategy, or help you, move forward in some type of career, when it comes to your advancement. They not doing that. They're not gonna do that. This is not somebody that's gonna support, what it is that you going after or want to do. So for some of you, it is a masculine. Um, but this could be somebody, like I said, that celebrated with you. You know what I'm saying? You could have a baby for this person. They could have invited. You don't have to be, but take either. You know what I'm saying? However it resonates with you. Okay. But it's given like somebody that don't. They'll hang out and celebrate and go places and shit like that with you, but they not somebody that, when it come down to you sitting down talking about something to them, venting to them, opening up to them, this is not somebody gonna give you their support. This is somebody that will talk you out of their shit, and all because that ain't something they'll do, or that ain't something they'll see themselves doing, mentoring, or stirring the pot in something, or picking a herb and putting somebody onto this, or pulling a card. No, changing a damn tire, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If this is not somebody that's gonna listen to what it is you really want to do, and your hopes and dreams, and support you. You know what I'm saying? And motivate you, and inspire you in any way. To move forward with it. No, not at all. And this could be the friend of somebody. This could be somebody's associate, somebody they socialize with. But you got the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck with the Strength and the Sun in reverse. Yeah. Somebody, abuse, just how nice and how giving and stuff like that you were. Like somebody took advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? They could be in debt right now because they don't really have anything to give. Like, and they could be their karma. You know. Yeah. Like this is somebody that, will take. They'll take her. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody may have taken advantage of who you were, not knowing, just how strong you are, even how confident you are, how protected you are. And your strength makes somebody feel bad too. Yeah. You could have had some sadness, when it came to, getting away from this person or leaving them alone, but, I feel like this is where, they are right now. Talk about the Three of Cups with the King of Cups in reverse. What's the Three of Cups with the King of Cups in reverse? Ten of Swords. I mean the Nine of Swords. Eight of Swords in reverse, child. Gemini energy, yeah. Somebody want to make some type of productivity now. Like somebody want to make some type of effort now, like gaining some type of awareness now through this non-communication that you and this person is having. So whatever it is now, it's like somebody, releasing themselves from these self-limiting beliefs. Like whatever they thought something was going to make them look like, or what people going to say if, they go this route, or if I do this, you know what I'm saying, I ain't finna do that, I'm not finna go toward that, or I'm not gonna get involved with that person because I don't want nobody thinking I'm into that too. That kind of thing. It's like somebody, releasing themselves from them self-limiting beliefs. Even if it's just, somebody mocking you for your calling, but at the same time, it's like you going toward your calling was something that you had to go toward, without shame. You know what I'm saying? Eight of Swords in reverse. Because at the end of the day, if they not gonna support you, if they not gonna be somebody that is gonna be reliable, that wanna be around you anymore, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? And this Three of Cups is giving like, somebody, family or something like that. This could be, aunts, it could be cousins, you know what I'm saying? That's criticizing you or saying, what they saying or whatever, at this party or at this family reunion, at this gathering, this baby shower, this, you know what I'm saying, this bridal part, whatever. But it's given like somebody don't want to accept, what I'm saying, what your calling is, especially if they are connected to you. It's like being a tarot reader and, making good money, or you're a practitioner, you make good money, but it's like somebody, you want them to introduce you to their family, but not wanting to tell them what you do for work. It's giving that, you know what I'm saying? But you got to start at the bottom of the deck, because that's what you are. That's what you are. But, this may be something that your ancestors, may have gotten into, or somebody may have been into, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah. But I feel like somebody is being guided with the star at the bottom of the deck. Like, you letting your spirit guides, your spirit team, they protecting you, they guiding you, they're there, for whatever it is that you need them to do. So at this point, it's like somebody may have had their heart closed off to you, you know what I'm saying? But that may have been because this person wasn't using their intuition. They, their mind, their third eye was not open at the time. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to justify, explain yourself, or, be somebody, be with somebody that is not comfortable with you. You know what I'm saying? And if they not comfortable with you, they're not comfortable. They're not for you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's for you will support your endeavors. They will support you and help, in any way they can. You know what I'm saying? Without them feeling like it's, putting a damper or a veil over their reputation. You know what I'm saying? Give me some on this Judgment in reverse. Yeah, I did. So somebody going through a transformation, a transition now. And they, like I said, they may have mocked your calling, in the past. But I feel like, at the same time, this person, has had to open their heart, to more than just what they done had to experience, or what the lessons is, or what this dark night of the soul done shown them. But it's, allowing them to reflect, look back on some of the things that needed to change, especially when it comes to them taking accountability and responsibility, with this death out here. So them getting rid of the things that they know has gotten in the way of them being the person that they need to be. And them self-limiting beliefs, them thinking and being a certain way, and blaming it and thinking it's other people's, doing, or this is just other people being how they are. No, you play a part in now, you know what I'm saying, somewhere. And this person is beating themselves up about why they, they feel like, I should have did more, I should have did this, you know what I'm saying? How could I have done this person like that, or said this or said that about them, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's them having to go through this transition, this transformation. They having to let go and let the excess of, those things about them fall away. And that may have been what's happening over time, because it's like they want to celebrate, but they were in the past somebody that was not, very supportive, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that was reliable. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't somebody that, they wasn't who they needed to be for you. You know what I'm saying? And they may have, held back from how they needed to be, and who you needed them to be, because of, them not knowing, like, what other people gonna say, and feeling like they stuck somewhere, with thinking the way they was thinking, like all these negative thoughts about what your calling is and what people gonna say and how they gonna respond to it. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But they releasing, themselves from that now, especially when it comes to them, possibly being blocked by you, the universe being blocked, blocking them, from, them reaching out to you until they can fully accept, accountability and work on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever your calling is, it's because of the Most High God. You doing, whatever it is He has, instilled, and whatever your assignment is, He is that is for you. And it may be something that you and this person, you know what I'm saying, needed to be in alignment, to do if this is, your person. Because you got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck with the Four of Wands. Eight of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Like somebody was like self-absorbed, like, more, especially, at a time when somebody, was dealing with somebody possibly that didn't like what you do. Like it could have been a lover of theirs, it could have been, a family member or something like that doing this. Could have been one of their family members could have been one of yours. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I said, this is somebody that possibly, has an imbalance and then some insecurities, about themselves, but they obsessed with status. You know what I'm saying? And this is getting in the way. This is something that somebody that's obsessed with their status don't focus, and balance work and home very well at all. So this is somebody talking about what you're doing, what your calling is, and they can't even balance themselves long enough to jump rope. Child, hop on one leg like that lady on Coming to America. Child, please. Hop on one leg, bark like a dog. This is somebody that can't balance themselves, let alone home and work. But they talking about what you doing, and really they talking about themselves. They projecting, whoever this fire side is, they projecting. And for some of you, it could be a friend, could be a group of friends with this Three of Cups out here. But I'm going to end it here. Make sure you guys do something nice for each other or someone you know or don't know, okay? Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe on your way out. This is Divine Eye Mystic Tarot. Until next time, you guys, those of you that genuinely love me, know that I love you too. Mwah. Bye.